Good morning, everyone. So last class we had studied about software-defined networking. What is software-defined networking? Yes. So what earlier it was in a traditional system, networking was hardware-based, wherein what was happening? Yes, what was happening? All the any features, any functionality has to be implemented at the hardware level. But because of that, it was very complex and very tedious. They introduced software-defined networking. What they did in that was they separated data plane and control plane and centralized control they had. Okay. So what they did in centralized control is data plane means will transfer the actual data forwarding. Control means configuration. Okay, to configure the devices, all those things was done at the control level. So those things they had done in software. I gave you example of your mobile cameras also. So internal cameras, how it will be? Maybe 12 megapixel, 8 megapixel. But they will give software features to enhance and give more features. Yes or no? By via software also, you can enhance the hardware. That's what they did in software-defined networking. That is, networking configuration and features they were adding via software. Today we will see one more related topic, that is network function virtualization. So I think you have idea of what is virtualization. Do you have any idea of what is virtualization? Yes? Do you have idea of virtualization? What is virtualization? You're for executing Java program, a JVM machine you had installed. Why you had installed JVM? Java virtual machine? Why you had installed? Yes? Why you would install Java virtual machine? Yes, why you would install? Yes. So irrespective of what actual device is, okay, underlining one device layer was there. Upon that, you were installing a JVM layer platform, so that Java program would execute on this. Okay, so in this, irrespective of what hardware you have, okay, you would put one software layer so that any device you execute Java program, it will look same. So today we will be seeing how we can virtualize network, okay, or compute this, what is it, computing devices, etc. Internally, small device will be there. Via virtualization layer, we will enhance the feature. Or maybe two hardwares are there. We will virtualize. We will give an imaginary look that there is only one hardware instead of two and unlimited space. So before I start, I'll show a video so that you'll get the idea of what I'm going to tell today, and then I'll be telling you. Okay, this video is summary of what I'm going to tell you. You can see the video. Yes or no? Can you see this video?
Yes, ma'am.
Machine is hanging.
Go beyond simply providing network connectivity for their enterprise customers. They also offer additional services and network functions like network address translation, firewalls, encryption, domain name service, caching, and others. Traditionally, these network functions were deployed using proprietary hardware at the customer premises. This approach provides additional revenue, but deploying multiple proprietary devices is costly and makes upgrades difficult. Every time a new network function is added,
See, they are telling about traditional system. For traditional system, for every feature, you need one hardware, and that hardware is proprietary, not a general. Okay, that is specialized for maybe for firewall specialized device, for encryption a specialized device, not a general device. This was an existing system, but this was very tedious. For everything, one hardware was there. Now what they're doing, general device they'll use, general hardware, then they'll keep a software layer or virtualization layer on that software layer, so that general hardware you'll have, and which features you want you can add. So this is about traditional thing, traditional network functions.
added to a service. A truck roll is required to install the dedicated hardware. Service providers began exploring ways to reduce costs and accelerate deployments through network function virtualization. Network function virtualization, or NFV, decouples functions like a firewall or encryption from dedicated hardware and moves the function to virtual servers.
Here, all this, it was dedicated hardware, right? In existing encryption, DNS, and this NAT, and all these have come into virtual layer. So instead of having a dedicated hardware, we can use a general hardware and give a virtual layer in the form of software.
Instead of installing expensive proprietary hardware, service providers can purchase inexpensive switches, storage, and servers to run virtual machines that perform network functions.
Here, what they're doing, instead of having a dedicated machine, general switches, storage, servers they're using. Then this DNS and all network services they're providing via virtual layer, that is via software.
This collapses multiple functions into a single physical server, reducing costs and minimizing truck rolls. If a customer wants to add a new network function, the service provider can simply spin up a new virtual machine to perform that function. NFB refers to the strategy of virtualizing network functions, moving from separate proprietary pieces of hardware to software running on virtual servers using standard hardware.
So can you see here, instead of dedicated devices, they have done this operations in the form of virtual layer. Here one general hardware is there, and on that using some software virtualization, they're implementing encryption, DNS, firewall. Very nice, no? We need not have a dedicated device for DNS, firewall, encryption. Same thing in your mobile also they are doing now. General hardware, all the mobile will have. So Android or software only all the mobile will have. So any mobile you take, it will be nearly same. Earlier it was not same like this. Earlier Nokia mobile you take means it was different. Okay, LG mobile you will take, that had different functionality, different user interface, different functionality. Now what they're doing, based on software only, they'll take a general hardware with the software only, similar it will be having. Just one or two features they'll add of their own.
Virtual CPE commonly refers to any network function that runs on a virtual machine. Let's take a closer look at how NFV helps service providers deploy network functions. A customer has a network service between their headquarters and
see how to deploy a NFV network functions we are seeing now. They're showing one example. Just carefully listen.
A branch office that includes a firewall, DNS, and encryption. Prior to NFV, a separate appliance for each service would have been installed at the customer location. With NFV, the service provider can install a generic server at the customer premises, then use a standard IT virtualization platform like OpenStack or VMware to spin up virtual machines for each network function. Physical CPE is replaced with virtual CPE. The server that runs the virtual machines is referred to as a compute node. The compute node includes software called a hypervisor that manages the virtual machines and the resources for the compute node. In the service provider's data center, a virtualized infrastructure manager, or VIM, manages multiple compute nodes.
So this all virtualization is taken care by a node known as compute node. Okay, multiple compute node will be there, which will be doing this, each of this function. That is, DNS might be done by one compute node, encryption, firewall. These all are virtual machines. Okay, actual firewall device, DNS device we don't have. Okay, and those all are controlled by this VIM controller.
Provider also needs to run the EMS software that manages the network functions. The EMS servers are also virtualized and run on a compute node in the data center. In reality, providers may have multiple data centers that serve hundreds or thousands of customers. When a new network function is deployed for a customer, it can be done anywhere in the network, at the edge, at the closest data center, or in a centralized data center. Some functions, like a firewall or encryption, are optimal at the customer premises. Other functions, like DNS, can be done in a data center. Distributed NFV means that NFV is done in multiple locations in a provider network, including a mix of data centers and customer locations. Whether a function is distributed throughout the network or centralized in a data center, Planet Orchestrate can create and manage all of the resource instances required to deploy the service. Moving to NFV and virtual CPE allows operators to reduce cost, but it also adds complexity. Creating a service for a subscriber means that technicians need to coordinate resources across a variety of platforms from multiple vendors. Orchestration enables service providers to create repeatable work.
So this orchestration will take care of managing all these devices.
Flows that coordinate and automate the creation, management, and synchronization of the resources needed to create a service. Service providers define a service, then use Planet Orchestrate to implement that service over and over as needed for subscribers. Planet Orchestrate employs an open architecture that enables it to manage hundreds of millions of physical.
So this is one company, Blue Planet, that also help you to manage these all. That is network for function virtualization. Okay, that can be many companies will provide. There is some problem in Zoom. We'll continue. I think you got the idea about what is NFV. Video was clear for you. So today we'll be studying last session of IoT and M2M. Today we'll be completing this chapter. Okay, we'll be studying on what is network function virtualization. So I think seeing the video, you got the idea what is network function virtualization. What do you mean by that is earlier network function, all those for each network function, one device would be there, specialized device. Now what they're doing, they're using generic hardware and then providing a virtualization layer on that based on some little hardware, some hardware components or based on the software, we can add on all the features. Okay, so they're showing one this figure. So what all NFV will do? Softwareization, orchestration, that is management and virtualization. So three functionality it does. Okay, so on the existing hardware, one general hardware will be there. On that they will provide a virtual network. So generic hardware is there, on that virtual network will be there. Then you can have the feature of various network function features. Okay, so that will be the advantage of NFV. So you have seen the video, we need not explain this. Okay, this is from your textbook. This is the how your what happened. This is one question will come. Explain NFV architecture. This diagram you have to draw. Before that, what is NFV? It stands for network function virtualization. What it does is, what it does, it consolidates. One second. It consolidates the heterogeneous network. Okay, so heterogeneous network devices, it will consolidate. Maybe some standard servers we saw in video, right, switches or storage. We don't have specialized hardware here. We have standard hardware here. On that, we will provide a virtualization layer, and whichever network function you want, you can implement. Yesterday we saw SDN. Okay, so these are complementary to each other. Okay, what is happening here? Actual hardware will be there. On that, virtual layer will be there. On that, you can make the software defined network. Okay, so you can use it as friends, NFB and SDN. That is what it is, complementary. Yes, don't try to use the thing. Okay, so I've given you all the functionality. Don't use it. Okay, so it is complementary to each other. Okay, so network function can be virtualized without SDN. So these can be used together, SDN and NFB, but they're they need not be supplementary. Yes, mute yourself. So this is about NFB. Next we'll see NFB architecture. So this is very important. Okay, so in NFB architecture, what is there? Down, general hardware will be there to compute, to network, for networking and storage. Yes, I'll remove you from this, okay, meeting if you use the things. Who is that? Don't use this pointer, okay. Then actual hardware is there below. Then what is there? A virtualization layer. On that we can have virtual compute, virtual network, and virtual storage. So actually here it is there, but we can add on the feature. See, you have actual camera, yes or no? But to enhance the functionality, what you use? Different softwares you are using. Those are nothing but that becomes virtual camera. Actual camera will have some facilities. Using the virtualization, you can enhance the facility. That is done because we have a virtualization layer. On that we can have virtual computation device, virtual network, and virtual storage. Again, what is there here? NFB management and orchestration. Okay, what it is? Any idea what is NFB management and orchestration? Yes, what it is? It will take care of managing all the devices, all the virtual devices. It will take care. And above this, you can have your virtual network function. Which are virtual network function? Firewall, okay, or NAT service, or any other network function, encryption. All those things can be implemented here. So remember here, lowermost, what will be there? Yes, lowermost actual hardware is there. Then one virtualization layer is there. On that we have virtual computation, virtual network, and virtual storage. Okay, computation means it will do some processing of computation. This is about network. Storage is to store the data, and all this is managed by NFB, management and orchestration. Above that you can implement any network function, firewall, NAT, anything, or any other network function you can implement. Okay, so key elements of what are the key elements of this? So there are three key elements of NFB. One is virtualized network function. Okay, next is NFB infrastructure, and third one is NFB management and orchestration. We saw no, NFB virtual functions is there, management and orchestration is there, and NFB infrastructure is there. So what is this virtualized network function? Yes, it is software implementation of network function. So here we have seen no, all the network function can be implemented in software format. That is known as VNF, virtualized network function. Okay, then we have NFV infrastructure. This include compute, network, and storage. Okay, this is there on virtualization layer. Okay, yes, stop drawing. Then third one is network NFV management and orchestration. So this will take care of all the managing all the devices. Okay, and one more thing, you have to remember some of the important things of NFV. It comprises of network function implemented in software, but it runs on virtualized resources. See here, this is virtualized resources. Okay, so this will run on virtualized resources. You can see the PPT, right? Okay, so that is what it is. Network functions are implemented in the form of software. It separates network NFV, enables separation of network function and which are implemented in software from the hardware. So all the network functions are implemented via software, and so it is easily tested and upgraded. Earlier, if the network function was in device, we have to go where all those devices are installed, go and test it. If it is via software, wherever you are implementing the software, what you can do is you can test in the home only, since it is you have software testing, right? How you test it? Using that you can easily test if network function is in the form of software. Okay, so because of virtualizing network function, it will reduce the equipment cost. Devices will become less and also reduces power consumption, because very only some general hardware, everything is done via software. Okay, so and also we can use cloud here, and also applicable we can use these functions to data plane and control plane. Last class we saw what is data plane and what is control plane. Okay, one example they have given of home network. Okay, home network without virtualization and with virtualization. So one more diagram is there, it's not here. Okay, I'll try to share that diagram. So one, you have textbook now. So this diagram is without virtualization. I'll just share with the virtualization also. Okay, so we will see one example now with and without virtualization layer. Okay, so this is one example of home network. First diagram is without a virtualization layer. So for everything you have hardware here, whereas this is with virtualization. Here we don't have hardware, we are doing all the facility via software. But here see, everything we are doing in the hardware. So any changes, any feature you want to add, what you have to do? You have to change this hardware only. But in virtualization, what will happen? What we have to change? NFB infrastructure is there, virtualized home gateway. This is in the form of software. So any functionality you want to add, only you have to change this. Okay, which is in the form of software. Okay. So what is this example about is a home virtual home network. Okay. So what it does, it has a home gateway that provides WAN W area network to enable services like internet, IPTV, and voice over IP. So all those you are using right now, right? So what all this home gateway will do? There is one home gateway. It performs network on this functionality. Whereas in virtualization, virtual layer will do. It will do DSCP, okay, NAT that is translation, application specific gateway, and firewall. All these functionality, this home gateway will do. It provides private IP addresses to each connected device in the home. Okay, so it helps in routing and all. And here we have something called public network, and here everything is in the form of hardware, because this is your conventional home network, whereas this is your virtualized this home network which is virtualized. So everything, all these hardwares are there, but all the network functionality you're providing via virtualized network. So NFB infrastructure is there, on that virtualization is there. Okay, internet, IPTV, voice over IP, all those functionality you're provided via virtualization layer. Okay, so can you answer these questions? Virtualization, virtualizing network functions reduces cost and what? It reduces cost and time. Okay, next, network function can be virtualized without SDN. True or false? Yes, true or false? Can it be virtualized without this? Is it true or
True,
false?
ma'am.
True. Okay, both can be used together and both can be used independently. Okay, what is control plane in SDN and what is data plane? Yesterday we had studied. What is control plane? Yes, it is used for configuring the network. Yes or no? Configuration and control thing was done by control plane. Data plane, what it does? What it does? Last class it is, not this class question. What does data plane do in SDN? It takes care of forwarding data. Okay. So this was about this chapter. Any doubts you have? Yes, any doubts you have in this chapter?
No, ma'am.
We'll just see everything we have completed or no and end the class. Then just check once in the syllabus copy, the questions asked. Then tomorrow you can have the quiz. So third chapter, this also you can write. Explain SDN layers. Yesterday we have studied. Then difference we have studied. Today what? Describe how NFB can be used for virtualizing IoT device. You can write about home network. Okay. Next, describe NFB architecture with neat diagram. So you saw no orchestration, network function. Manjula, you'd stop drawing. Yes. I was not telling your name. I can see who all are accessing. I can get the name. Okay, so don't do it. So describe NFB architecture with neat diagrams. You should write virtualizing network function, all that diagram you have to draw, and this write the answer in the point format. 3 key elements are there. So anything else you want to tell? No, you Rahul, take the snapshot of the attendance. Okay. So tomorrow you will be having quiz. Next, after that, I'll start with the fourth chapter. I think nothing you want to say. Okay then. Bye. Take care.